Hey everyone, what a season it has been for Bayern Munich. I have enjoyed every single match. Unfortunately, I did miss the last match of the season just because I went to a wedding in Oklahoma. It was really fun, but still, I haven't missed a single game this season, be it Champions League, DFB Pokal, regular season match, and everything. So today we're going to do a player rating and see how each player did. But first, let's talk about some of the differences that I saw this time versus last year. Number one being, we saw what sort of tumultuous situation we had with Thomas Tuchel at the Reign as our coach last season and half the season before that. We were very lucky to win the league in his first stint as head coach for Bayern Munich. If it wasn't for some late heroics from Jamal Musiala, I do think we would have lost that season. It took Dortmund losing on the last match day and Musiala scoring a last-minute winner for us to win the Champions League, for us to win the Bundesliga season. But let's transition into the first full season for Thomas Tuchel. I understand that Bayern Munich made it to the semifinals to play against Real Madrid in the semifinals of the Champions League, but you can sense an overall difference in how the team is interacting with each other, how they're reacting in matches. And it was really evident when we fell behind in Inter in the Champions League that we really started to show our no-quit attitude. And I feel like under Thomas Tuchel, our players were just so afraid of making any mistakes or ruffling any feathers that they were very robotic. And that's something that Pep Guardiola has been pushing for a really long time. And I feel like Thomas Tuchel was really trying to replicate that. And in the modern game of football, I understand where that may be successful for some people. But in our case, I truly feel like the creativity is still important. And Thomas Tuchel just didn't understand that. It was either his way or nothing else was going to work. His player development was weak. His man management was weak. His tactics in match were terrible. Tuchel ball was the worst thing that I've ever seen. It was score a goal, defend, 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 defend. Especially when you don't have a good defense, just defend, defend, defend. It works well in large tournaments like the Champions League. And that's, you know what, he'll probably do well with England just because of that situation. He'll do well in England. I don't think they'll ever get a World Cup. Don't worry, guys. It's never coming home. And I'm just glad we moved on from him. I have said this multiple times. Thomas Tuchel is arguably the worst coach that has come to Bayern Munich. And I've seen some horrible coaches come through between Niko Kovac, all the likes, but still. Now we turn the page. Vincent Kompany is our man now, and I'll be the first to tell you that the first time that we sat down and heard the news about Vincent Kompany, I was at a taco restaurant with my wife for breakfast. Breakfast tacos, #1 Texas staple. And we were sitting there, and I looked at my phone, and obviously I'm in Texas, so it's their time zone's way ahead of ours. One by one, every coach saying, oh, Ralf Rangnick said no to Bayern Munich. Oh, Julian Nagelsmann's not coming back. And I'm sitting there thinking, is there something wrong with our team? Is there something fundamentally wrong within the organization of our team? And then we took the chance on young Vincent Kompany, the former Burnley coach. Got his team promoted with some of the highest point total ever for a Champions team in the English league. And unfortunately, the season after that, they got demoted right back, which, by the way, 90% of teams that are promoted into the Premier League or any league gets demoted the very next season. So that's nothing new. So we took a chance on Vincent Kompany. And the one thing that I saw differently about Vincent Kompany is that he doesn't see himself as above the players, as, oh, I've accomplished XYZ at Man City. I know more than you do. And that's what I saw with Thomas Tuchel, and it drove me insane, is that we get it. You won a Champions League, but you're coming to Bayern Munich. We've won 6 Champions Leagues. We have won, I don't even know how many more trophies in the Bundesliga. We've won 35, 36 now. And you come into our squad and you want to make some sweeping changes into how the identity of Bayern is? No, that's not going to work. So the first thing that Vincent Kompany did was that he went back to what the future core of Bayern Munich is. We develop players early. We start youngsters, and we show that we're a better team. We don't have to change our tactics for other teams. Other teams change their tactics for us. That's how it should be. And it feels like it's been a complete 180 from what I saw with Thomas Tuchel. The players look like they're enjoying themselves I know it's via social media, but still you get to see it. But in this, we're going to review the season. I appreciate everybody being here. Follow, hit that subscribe button. Check us out on TikTok. We stream the matches. We try to do live streams every single day. Dr. Mix-a-Lot on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and everywhere. There is some room for improvement. I think the company absolutely exceeded my expectations, but let's get into it. So since I've been a Bayern Munich fan since 2002, I've formulated just my own rating of between 1 to 10 for each player. And so we're going to break down the players and go through 1 being, obviously, there's room for improvement, and 10 being they were absolutely world class. And we're going to go through every single position and each player within that position, and then we're going to give a formal grade for each one. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, any sort of feedback. Obviously, we'll always listen to it. But speaking of which, I'm just so excited to see the new strategies that Vincent Kompany is implementing. The high press, the quick line. It reminds me a lot of Hansi Flick. That was the first thing I saw. When I was watching Kompany's first couple matches, I was like, this team looks like they were coached by Hansi Flick. That's what it looked like. And I love Hansi Flick, arguably one of the better coaches we've had. And you see what he's doing at Barcelona now, and you can tell that Hansi Flick has really transformed their culture the same way that Vincent Kompany is changing ours. And I know Vincent Kompany is still young and he's still learning himself. And the one thing that I noticed about Vincent Kompany that I appreciated the most is that after that Barcelona match where we got smoked 4-1, it was great for me for my content, but for my team, it was awful. 4-1. It was disgraceful. We were getting beat by our attempt at a high line. The one small thing that he did that a lot of people didn't notice is when we started losing the back line, we were causing Kimmich to go back a little bit further back, meaning like he was sometimes the last line of defense, and he's not the quickest, and that Rafinha exposed that. And so the one thing that he did is that when we're attacking forward, Alphonso Davies is actually the one hanging back behind the center backs a little bit to prevent that long counterattack to go through. That small change tells me that Vincent Kompany is willing to change, improve his play style, and improve the team. That speaks volume about a manager, about the person, everything that Vincent Kompany is in. So that's one of the easier things I do. So now let's start getting into a player-by-player analysis. We'll start with the goalkeepers first. As you guys know, Manuel Neuer is getting up there in age. He is our captain. He has been with our team for a really long time, especially since we saw the departing of Thomas Muller this year. Manuel Neuer is the last of that old guard. He's still our captain. I understand. He did have a little bit of an injury, and we have to talk about Manuel Neuer's injury. He got injured celebrating a goal. He got injured, a calf injury. And we got to see the emergence of Jonas Ulrich. The only reason Ulrich got the chance to start was because Ulrich was not dressed and ready to play. Even though he was on the roster, he was in the stands, not dressed. And Ulrich happened to be the person that was on the bench. So for this, we'll just be completely partial, right? For Manuel Neuer, I'm going to give him a 6.8 for this season. Sven Ulreich, which we didn't really see much of, we'll leave it at a flat 6. Jonas Ulrich is interesting. Before this, I honestly didn't see much of him. But for Jonas, the cool thing is that he's so young. He's had some big saves, but he's had a couple of knucklehead situations as well that seem to me like he's not ready for the big spotlight. But he did step up when he needed to. And I see glimpses of him in there. The ball distribution is there. The quick reflexes is there. I just think sometimes the decision-making was not. So I'm only going to give him a 7.1 for this season. We saw a couple matches with him. I think we saw about 10 matches from him. Overall, for the goalkeepers, we'll give it a 6.9. Let's move on to defense. Our defense. We'll start with the center backs first. First one that comes to mind was Kim Min-jae. I understand that he was potentially playing through an injury throughout the season, and he seemed like he was struggling at times, and you could really tell that with the corner kicks when he's trying to jump to help defend against those. Super evident in the Inter match. Kim and Jay look like he's a little bit slow. It definitely a downgrade from where he was last season, where he was that monster last season. I had a hard time with this score line just because if he was not 100% fully healthy and he was still playing through that, then it's hard to judge a player off of that. But for Kim Min Jae, I'm going to be absolutely fair. I'm going to give him a 6.7 for the season. Barely above average, maybe closer to average. That's just my thoughts on Kim Min Jae. Next is Dayo Upamecano. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Dayo Upamecano as being one of the best center backs in European football right now. Has the highest rating per foot mob. When he was injured, you could definitely tell a difference in our defense when he wasn't there. For Dayo Upamecano, I'm gonna give him a 7.6. And I have to say, I am so damn proud of him, how much he's improved his game from even 2 years ago, even to last year. He has been steadily improving himself, and I truly believe he is our future starter and continue starter moving into next season. So that's my score for Dayo Upamecano. Next up is Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer arrived in the middle of the season on a loan spell, and then we decided to keep him. I thought he was just going to be a great backup. I didn't think he was going to be our best center back while Dayo Upamecano was out. I thought Kim and Jay would be able to cover up some of his issues. Eric Dyer was scoring goals, defending goal line kick clearances. The guy was absolutely everywhere. I am so proud of him. He exceeded my expectations this year. I gave him a 7.8 just because I think his it's not just about his stats and everything, but with him, you really saw a lot of the off the field stuff, his leadership skills. It felt like he was a really important person in the locker room too. Eric Dyer, 7.8, great score. Very excited about him. Alphonso Davies. Now, I have been very critical on Alphonso Davies, especially under Thomas Tuchel. I felt like he regressed so bad, and watching his difference between Hansi Flick and then even under Julian Nagelsmann and then Thomas Tuchel, it felt like Alphonso Davies regressed so much. I understand he went through a lot of stuff with his personal life, but this year was an absolute resurgence for him. And I can talk about the beef that I have with Canadian Football Federation right now for making him play and causing his injury. Yes, causing his injury. Alphonso Davies, man, I love you. I think you're an important person for our team. I'm so glad you extended with us. 8.1 for my boy Alphonso Davies. Absolutely stellar play up the left wing. Linked up well with whoever played on the left side over there. It'd be a Coman, Gnabry, or Sané. Alphonso Davies, you're an absolute stud. Next up on our right back position, which we'll do a mixture here, but Rafael Guerreiro, reliable when we needed him. It was really crazy seeing him play the 10, but sometimes having a backup like that is also very versatile is very important to a team. I'll give him a 6.8. It seems like Rafael Guerreiro he's good at a lot of different things, but not great at anything. But I can definitely see his worth for the team. He's important in the locker room. He plays many different positions. So Rafael Guerreiro, you know what? No, I'm changing it. I'm giving him a 6.9. We'll bump him up a little bit more than that. Also, the last right back that I want to talk about, who's technically a midfielder, but Konrad Laimer has been outstanding. Arguably one of the best underrated players that I've seen in a long time. Playing out of position, having to cover for a lot of issues, works his ass off. The guy just works hard every single match. Every single one, you'll see him work hard. Sometimes we don't need that. We don't need an engine at all times, right? Sometimes we got to coast a little bit to help the flow of the match. And so he could work a little bit more on his ball skills. I think that's what the one part that's lacking a little bit. But playing at a position, working his butt off, I give Konrad Laimer a solid 7.0. Now let's move on to the midfield. Now, there's one player that I have been very critical of, mostly because he's a player that plays in two positions for two different teams. A centered holding midfielder for Bayern Munich and a right back for Germany. Joshua Kimmich, who, by the way, I am only hard on him because that's the position I used to play. Obviously, he's a lot better than I am, but still, that's a position that I used to play, so I tend to pay attention more to what he does. But one thing that I realize what company likes to do, and this is specifically regarding Kimmich or Konrad Laimer, and it's actually pretty smart, is when one player, like for example, if Konrad Laimer is attacking forward, Kimmich is actually tucking back into that right back position. So he's gotten a lot smarter with his positioning to make sure that he's in the right spot prior to Konrad Laimer pushing forward, which happens a lot. And the reverse is true too. Kimmich goes forward, Konrad Laimer is covering the right back position. It's not like he's a true holding midfielder right back. It's almost like a blended position between those two. I don't want to call it a right wing back because you're not sprinting down the line, because you see him attacking more towards the middle rather than on the right-hand side. Most of his assists has come from the right side of the pitch, not on the far wing, but on the right side of it. His passing is immaculate. Sometimes his decision-making process is a little bit slow, but under company, he has become much more vertical, which what I appreciate, rather than just under Thomas Tuchel, where it looks like he was a pass-back merchant. All he was doing was passing to the side, passing backwards, and not pushing the ball forward. I'm going to give you a great score. I'm going to give you 7.8 for this season. One of the best players we've had this season, arguably probably player of the season for Bayern Munich, but it's been very fun to see. Next up is Leon Goretzka. Leon Goretzka has been an anomaly since the 2020 season. It has been 5 years since we saw Sworetzka come out and show how beefy he is now. And I am so sick and tired of seeing a Kimmich Goretzka pivot. If we go into 2025 and 2026 with that pivot again, I might lose my mind. This has nothing to do with Goretzka or Kimmich as a player, nothing to do, but we need a fresh look at our team. Leon Goretzka had a renaissance under company. He's played much better. Box-to-box defender, has late arrivals into the box, so he's able to score very late. And he really brought another dimension to our attack. When he wants to. It seems like sometimes when he's snubbed for the German national team, that's when he wants to play better, to prove that, oh, I should have been there. Like, brother, play better all the time. Like, I want to see that intensity all the time. And it seems like he started playing better when that fan keeps yelling Goretzka at him. And I want to see more for Leon Goretzka. He's claiming that he doesn't want to leave Bayern, but I think if the right offer comes, we may have to sell him. 7.1 for Leon Goretzka. I think that's the fairest I can give him. Let's move on. Alexander Pavlovich. Now, this guy, I am so excited about him. The passing range, the body size, the guy could be Leon Goretzka's body size and have Kimmich's passing ability. He could be both of those players molded into one. He had to deal with some illness issues. I understand he had mononucleosis, so he was missing for a couple months, and you have to be careful coming back for that because you could have a spleen issue afterwards. That's another medical thing for you. Bringing him back into the lineup, it seems like before that he was really good, and then afterwards it seemed he struggled to get back in the starting lineup. But his passing ability is so good. And he arguably had the best goal we've had this season, where he chested the ball down and the ball didn't hit the ground. He volleyed it into the far post outside the box about 20 yards out. Pavlovich could be that guy in the midfield. I worry about a Pavlovich-Kimmich pairing in the midfield because they're way too similar of passers and there's no really defensive threat. This next guy that I want to talk about, I'm a little bit bigger of a fan of, having a Pavlovich and this other player pivot. But Pavlovich, young guy, going to be a stud. I'm going to give him a 7.8. I think Pavlovich has been an absolute revelation for our team. A youngster, a young German player is what we need. So that's Pavlovich. We also added Joao Palhinha, who before November, before he got injured, was playing very well. He covered up a lot of mistakes in the defense. He was that person that brought the ball forward from the defense into the midfield. So that was his job, man. He could cover up center backs when they were off. He definitely had a stronger defensive presence. I wanted to see more of Joao Palhinha, and I don't think he fits the play style of Vincent Kompany. He's definitely a Thomas Tuchel signing. And I feel genuinely bad for him because I know I want to see more of him. But Joao, he's probably going back to Fulham. That's my idea. I'm pretty sure he's going to be sold this summer. But Joao, he said multiple times how much fun he's had. I'm going to give him a 6.8 just because I didn't see as much. I didn't see as much from him as I wanted to, but still a stud. By the way, he's very tall, just a big boy. Now, let's move into the attack. We scored 99 goals this season. We've only hit 100 3 other times in our history. So the goal output was definitely there. There was a marked difference between our attacking style last year versus this year. Vincent Kompany has definitely brought a new, fresh intensity. There's actually a metric showing that there was a 15% increase in intensity from Company compared to the Thomas Tuchel area. So if he had the goal of being a high press, high energy team, he accomplished that. Our goals per game went up. We're playing a more defensive system. We're still able to get more goals. Same possession stats that we've had. So we're finding ways to score. And even then, to be honest with you, there were a lot of chances that we missed, right? There was a lot of opportunities that some of our players have created that went off the wayside, unfortunately. And then we had a bunch of injuries and stuff. So I'm going to talk about this player. Arguably, to me, our highest scorer that we've had is Harry Kane. Harry Kane is our English star. He is breaking Bundesliga records. Even in his debut with us, was breaking records. Fastest to ever hit 60 goals in the Bundesliga, breaking Erling Haaland's record. So he's a great scorer. The other thing that he does very well is his link-up play, his leadership. Watching him go back all the way into our box to receive a ball, to push the ball forward, is refreshing for a lot of players to see. It shows his work rate. He's a professional, hasn't stopped working. The guy just doesn't stop, man. He's 30 plus now. Like, brother, it's okay. Like, you take a little bit of a beat, but no, man, Harry Kane's going to keep pushing. The guy's been simply phenomenal. To me, 8.2. Harry Kane, all your goals, brother. I appreciate everything that you do, man. Next up is Leroy Sané. Now, Leroy Sané is an anomaly. That's the easiest way I can explain it. The guy shows up and shows out every single time. And whenever we need him, he has come through a few times for us. But there are some times that Leroy Sané decides that he just forgets how to shoot and is one of the most one-footed players I've ever seen. But Arjen Robben was the same way. Arjen Robben only had a left foot. The difference being is that Arjen Robben, you knew what he was going to do to you, and he still does it to you. You knew what he was going to try to do to you, and he still does it to you. Leroy Sané seems like he overthinks things sometimes, and it causes his body to panic a little bit, right? But Leroy, he had some times where he was just playing like a man possessed. There were a couple games where he scored a brace that were really important to our team. Even though we drew against St. Pauli, he's still very important. He's still crucial to our system. I would keep him. If you ask my opinion, I would still keep him as a backup. I have two other wingers that would sell before him, which we'll get into. Sané, I'll give you a 6.9. Good season, pretty bang average if you ask me. Double digits as far as goals. So you know what? I'm giving you a 7.1, bro. You got double digits of scores. We're gonna give you a 7.1. These next two players, I don't want to spend too much time on because they annoy the crap out of me. And I don't want to be disrespectful because they were so important to our history, but that was also 5+ years ago. Kingsley Coman is like one of the fastest players I've ever seen. And Kingsley sometimes forgets that he's fast, meaning it's almost like having a Ferrari and an old woman driving it. And it doesn't have to be old woman, it could be old man, excuse me. Having a Ferrari and having an old person driving it. You have all the tools, but sometimes the decision-making just gets a little frantic and a little bit slow. His crossing has digressed. His shooting has digressed. He's got so close to scoring an absolute banger against Inter, man, which would have been really nice. But I have all the love I have for Kingsley Coman, man, but it might be time to move on. Saudi Arabia is calling. I'm giving you a 6.4 for the season, Kingsley. And, man, I'm really sorry. Next up in the same boat is Serge Gnabry. What the hell happened to Serge Gnabry, right? The guy would just love scoring against Chelsea, love scoring against Tottenham, love scoring against Arsenal. But if you put him in 2025 in my starting lineup one more time, I am going to lose my mind. Give me that number 7 shirt. Give it to Michael Olise. I'm Serge Gnabry. I love you, buddy, but it's time, bro. Sometimes you just need a fresh look, bro. Go play in the Premier League. Go to Saudi Arabia. It's fine. 6.4 also for Serge Gnabry. Now let's move on to Mr. Bayern Munich himself, Thomas Muller. Thomas Muller, I don't know what needs to be said about Thomas Muller. His intelligence, his leadership, his experience has been very important for our players. You can see him coaching on the pitch, and he's so important, but his body just can't keep up with the pace of the game anymore. FC Dallas is calling you, Thomas Muller. Come hang out with me in Frisco, bro. I'd love to be your friend. Thomas Muller, I will never disrespect everything. Didn't play as much, 6.5 for old Tommy. I love you, Thomas Muller. I do. With all my heart, I do, man. And I appreciate everything you've ever done for us. I hate to see you go, but come to the MLS, bro. We'll be ready for you. I left these last two players on purpose because one of them is my player of the season. But let's talk about Jamal Musiala, world-class player, future Ballon d'Or winner. He has just adapted a more direct style under Vincent Kompany. And it seems like his dribbling excellence has just taken it to the next level. It seems like now that Jamal Musiala has taken that next step in his career, he is going to be an absolute menace in Europe. Signed his new contract with us till 2030, which I'm very excited about. I love Jamal Musiala, Bambi, as you've heard me call him. Jamal Musiala, 8.2. I hate that you got injured at the worst time, bro. I'm telling you, when I saw you go down holding your hamstring, I knew immediately. I knew immediately something was wrong. And I think you did too. And you were so important to our build-up play. You gave us a creativity on another side that we were lacking creativity in the last part of our season. Harry Kane appreciated you. The guy on the right-hand side also appreciated you. So Jamal Musiala, I love you, buddy. Thank you. Lastly, our player of the year, in my opinion, Michael Olise. What an absolute refreshing player to watch. We absolutely robbed Crystal Palace for Michael Olise. 50 million pounds, euros for this guy is an absolute steal. I'll be 100% honest with you. Before the season, I had no idea who he was. I saw him play in the Olympics, and I was like, oh, shoot, we have an absolute star in our hands. And there is nothing more ice cold than watching Michael Olise score and do this. That, to me, is just perfect. The nonchalant attitude, I love it. The willingness to beat your player no matter what, amazing. Scored some crucial goals for us in the Champions League, even in the Bundesliga. Michael Olise, you're my player of the season. 8.7 for my boy Michael Olise. What an absolute star you are. Overall, I'll give my team probably a 7.4. The expectations that I expected early on was that, especially following a trophyless season, was just get us the Bundesliga. Make us look competitive in Europe, but get us the Bundesliga. I wish we would have gone a little bit further in the DFB Pokal just because it's a good marker as how you're doing in Germany. But I understand how we had other things to worry about. And by the way, that match was the one that Manuel Neuer got the red card very early on, so we're a man down pretty much the entire game against Leverkusen. But to me, it has been absolutely refreshing what Vincent Kompany has done for our team. The tactics, the intensity, the camaraderie, it's all very important. Overall, the season has been a lot about adaptation and growth. We've had our challenges. Even Kompany has had challenges of fixing what happened because even early on in Europe, we were really struggling. It seemed like we were not in the top 8, so we had to play in a playoff match, which was hectic as it was. We almost got kicked out by Celtic, right? But thankfully, we went forward. I think I'm very excited to see what Pavlovic brings to our team. Seeing the growth of Michael Olise and Musiala together will be so much fun, especially since Musiala and Davies signed their new contract. I don't think we'll see Davies again in 2025. My gut is saying we're not going to see him again until 2026. So Asnu is going to come back to our team. I understand we already recalled him. Today is May 29th. So we already recalled him. I'm curious to see if we're able to keep Kim Min-jae. I understand that Eric Dyer already signed a new contract with Monaco, so he's out, which truly broke my heart, to be honest with you. I'm quite excited about Kompany's second season. All the rumors of transfers you'll hear from me on YouTube Shorts or on TikTok. Please follow me everywhere. What did you think about the ratings? Do you agree with my assessment? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing y'all's perspectives, man. Y'all give me so much great information that I really didn't think about. If you're passionate about Bayern just as much as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Lots of content coming up, even during the summer. We're going to transition into some more like health-related stuff too. That's what the Midfield Medic is all about. Thank you for watching. Mia Sen Mia, and I'll see you in the next video.